Hi you guys, it's Acrylic Painting Monday. This is Ginger Cook and we're going to be painting this egret. And we're going to do it a little bit differently than we normally do. We're going to paint the background first and then we're going to let that dry and then we're going to come put the bird on top of that. And in order to get this dreamy look of the background, we're going to use matte medium again in a different way than I've showed you before. But I think you're going to love doing it. And for our Academy members at paintingwithginger.com, those of you who are red and purple, we have the challenge piece, which you will do on your own after watching this lesson. See if you kind of retained everything, and you can add some flowers and so forth. But what a beautiful pair. Now, this is an 11 by what, 14, John?
11 by 14, my queen.
But I think these would be stunning larger, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't these just be beautiful in a bedroom or, even a, bathroom, living room? They're very, very elegant paintings, but they're not hard. This is the thing. This is not hard. I want you to zoom in on this for a minute, John.
Wait a minute. Zoom in now, boss.
Do you see that tiny little bit of blue?
Can you lay it flat?
Yeah. See that tiny little bit of blue-green by the eye? Those are the kind of touches that really set it off. You know, the little round eye is it, right? That little tiny bit of light right on top of the bill so that the background stands out, right? So these are just some small things that you will be talking about. This is honestly very easy painting to do, but you've got to be able to mix these greens, and we're going to go into that. So why don't you look up at me, up at the camera. I'm going to look up at the camera. And want to welcome everybody to our channel. You want to give us a thumbs up and a like. I guess that's the same thing, isn't it?
One and the same, boss.
Okay, got it.
A thumbs up and a subscribe.
Note to self: thumbs up and likes are the same thing. Good to know. All right. Let's have fun.
Notice that we have the chat name. They've got numbers after their names now. No idea what that is. That is a YouTube thing. Hope you people enjoy the new numbers.
But we're going to have fun, and I'm going to show you wait till you see what we're going to be showing you tonight about what's coming forward in the next few months, because John and I are heading off on our trip, and we'll be here every Monday with premieres and the Academy. We've been painting up for 2 months solid to get all our Academy stuff done and all our YouTube lessons done. Clear through November. Are you impressed?
I'm impressed.
We have so many paintings we don't even remember what they are anymore. We had to think, well, what did we paint? Well, I thought it was good at the time. So anyway, stay tuned for that. We're here to answer questions. Put them all caps if you want me to answer. And let's get right down to painting this, okay?
Here we go. Bada bing. Hey, notice we started on time, people. Come on, 5:30.
And I'm going to show the Legacy palette, right?
Oh, wait, are you?
Yeah, well, of course, I just have this. This is just a light orange background, but because I happen to have this canvas, if I were going to just start from scratch, I might have just done maybe a light beige. But we had this, so we're doing it, right? That's the other painting. We don't want to paint just on white gesso. We want a layer of paint to grab the next layer, okay?
The huggy layer.
Huggy layer. We need the huggy layer. So here's our Legacy palette. As you can see, it's been pretty well used. It's because I've done so many paintings with this. But that's the Stay Wet palette. We've got titanium white and nothing there. Phthalo, ultramarine blue, burnt umber, burnt sienna, phthalo blue, Payne's gray, which is black and ultramarine blue. We've got cad red light. We've got naphtha crimson, or maybe pyrrole orange, and then cadmium orange, cad yellow medium, yellow ochre, and raw sienna. So those are the colors.
So the red up there is?
This bright red is pyrrole red, but you could use, any old red. Because there's not that much red in it, you're just going to use it to tone down the greens. And I've got my, coming back over here to the table, I've got my matte medium. And I'm just going to put about a tablespoon in the little cup here. What we discovered is if you let it dry in the little cup, the little plastic cup, you know what?
Peels right out.
It dries out solid, then you can just peel it off like a scab or something, and you have a cup again. Well,
can you say that on TV?
I did.
Oh,
I
man.
did. But that would just dry and make a solid thing, right? So if you did nothing. So here we've got the canvas. And
I
here
don't see the birds drawn on there.
well, no, we're not doing the birds. Didn't you listen? I'm telling you, we're not doing the birds because...
Okay, we're just showing up now, so I'm kind of reiterating.
Okay, we're not doing the birds because we're going to do that after we do the background, because we need to have this sweeping background. And we're going to start mixing some colors using our
handy dandy mixing palette.
handy dandy mixing palettes. Okay, these are just pre-cut wood we got on Amazon, little masonite boards, and then he takes the palette paper and just double sticks it on the back, so then you can see the colors I'm mixing. It's kind of a nifty setup here. So okay, so let's just take a, we know that this is going to be very light, so the color's got to be white. This has got to be white first. So we're going to start with mixing white. Okay, everybody kind of concurs with that. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
All right, and it's not total white, so maybe we'll take a little bit of raw sienna. Okay, and mix that. That's pretty close. It's because we don't want it. I think it could be a little warmer, so maybe we'll take some yellow oxide, put in there. Let's just warm that up just a bit. Okay, and a tiny bit of cad yellow, just about 1% of the cad yellow medium. So I want to warm this white color up, right? So I want something about like that, and I think I got it. Don't you guys think so? Just those colors. So then what we're going to do is I've kind of marked, on where I'm putting the demarcation line where the background in the pond. But so I know that I'm going to kind of cover probably something along this line with the with this color. So I'll take one of the larger brushes like this, and I'm going to just dip in some matte medium. Okay, I'll just dip some in here like that. All right, and I'm just going to come down here like this, and I don't mind that some of the warm color shows through. I think that's kind of pretty. In fact, John and I were talking about it. It might have been interesting to have done that gold gesso too, but I find it hard to paint on. Otherwise, I might have considered doing that, but I don't like to struggle that much. But see, by using just a little bit of the matte medium, that's going to stay wet a little bit longer. Okay, and as I come down, I'll just lift up. Notice when I come down, I lift up. And that's important. Kind of come down and then lift the brush. Start at the very top, come down and lift the brush. Yes? Okay. Come on down here like that. And now I'm going to add some more paint to that. I'm just going to add a little bit of the two gold colors. Okay. And I'm going to come in here like this and just sort of blend in some of these colors like that. Maybe a little bit stronger. I'll just go with some yellow ochre. See what I could mix. Right, what you're doing is you're mixing the paint on the canvas, so it's all kind of blurry. Okay, up like that. So you're just kind of putting this all misty, right? And then let's take a little bit of the raw sienna and come on up here like that. And we're gonna just do a little bit of this. Don't make it too even. Let me bring this down a little bit further. Okay. And this is done fairly quickly. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be too precise. You can, I kind of want this light layer up here. So if my brush got too dirty, I might just rinse it and wipe it off. And take a little white paint. I want this a little bit lighter up here. There you go. I can mix it, because of the medium, I can mix that in. You see that? I can mix that in. Now, as I go down further, I'm going to get a little bit of the cad red light and a little burnt sienna, and I'm going to mix that in here like that. A little bit of burnt sienna. See that? Okay. I'm going to come up here like that. No, I want some more orange in that. That's not quite right. So here, let's try that. Ooh, yeah. So a little bit of matte medium. See? A little bit of matte medium, so that then very gently, barely touching this. A little bit of matte medium. A little bit of maybe some cad red. There you go. See, just, you can get it. What the medium does is it gets everything a little bit translucent. See that? So you get these some of that gold showing through here like that. That's pretty. Okay. And I might put a little bit here. I know that bird's going to be there a little bit, so I might put a little bit where it would go around the bird. Here's where his body is, so he's going to be up here somewhere. Okay, okay. And let's take a little bit of the two reds and mix something a little brighter. Maybe come in here, barely touch it. It's still wet, so I can do that. So you can get these blendings. Now, what do we know about red and green? Well, red is the complement of green. So if I take some yellow, okay, and some Payne's gray, and I make a green, do you see if I put a little bit of that red in there, do you see what happened to that? See how I got this neat color? Now if I put a little bit of burnt sienna in it, that's got red in it. So I can tone that green down even more. Then I'll take a little matte medium and thin it out, okay? And then I can come up here like this, and I can create, just by using the medium to make this nice and thin, right? I can create this this sort of dreamy background here where the bird goes. Okay, and if I want something a little striking, we can always lay over it, but this gives you that thin layer. And we'll do the same thing here, and I don't mind going over the red because it's I do want it that sort of olive green color. Now if I didn't, then I'd have a different story here about what was going on, but I do, so that makes it a little bit different. So a little bit of this darker color coming up in here like that. Okay. So now I'm going to come back over here to the greens. See, I made this line here where the bird is. So then coming down under here, using a little matte medium, okay? I'm going to come down under here into the pond. And I'll start bringing this on down and just putting, instead of water, I'm using medium. You see that? Instead of water, I'm using medium. And that makes it very, very translucent. So it's very pretty when you do that. And I know I've got something a little bit darker in here like that, so I haven't dried anything yet, but I can probably do a little bit of like that. That'd be pretty safe here to say something dark's coming in here. And then if I get some phthalo blue and add to that, now look at that. Okay, and I'm doing this fairly quickly because even though it's medium, it's still kind of, it's still got to stay wet. And I added a little bit of the Payne's gray to that, okay? So now I've got a totally different blue. Do you see that?
If you don't have the matte medium,
do you see how the greens just changed on you? And I want to still leave the, still leave some of this olive green here. But, and I'm going to just take a little bit of the Payne's gray, a little bit of the matte medium, just like this, right? Because I want something dark. Okay. And I'll kind of wipe the brush off and maybe put a little bit of burnt umber with that. Okay. And I want to come up here like this. Now this is so interesting because what I'm going to do, well, this is still wet, so I'm going to just come up here and do some darker bits of the greenery, okay? This is everything I can do while this is still wet. Does that make sense? I want to come up here a little bit with this darker under here, okay? And I know I've got some dark under here, okay? So now this is kind of dark like this.
Question for you, boss.
What?
I have a question.
Sure.
If you don't have the matte medium, is a way to do this technique with just doing layers, thin layers, or another way, or what? You could use a bit of glazy medium would do it. Well, see, I don't have any of that stuff. It'd be tough.
Then you almost, well, you could maybe do it with your smudgy brushes. If you had a smudgy brush, you could do it maybe. Because your smudgy brush would give you that effect, all right? So you might get away with that with that. See, I'm putting a little yellow in there now and changing the colors of this. So yes, you can kind of do it, and again, The medium, and here's a little bit of brown here too. The medium just allows you to work longer. So I would do smaller sections maybe. If you didn't have it, but having a medium is cheap, man. It's a cheap deal, and you will find I'm doing a lot of videos with it lately because I have decided that it just makes blending so much easier. Like for instance, there, instead of getting water, I'm just going to put that color on it, right? And I can, and it gives it very translucent look. Here, see? And an angle brush, boy, you can just. But you see, there's nothing particularly hard about this now. Okay. And I mean, that is a fast background, don't you think?
You know, it was lightning fast.
Yeah, it just went really, really quick. And if I take a little bit of the phthalo blue in medium, like that, just a little bit of phthalo blue in medium, and just mix it over here like that. See how pretty blue that is? And I can just see what that just did? You get this light color that you can't really get as easily. Okay, you could do this with blending medium too, glazing medium too. Okay, can do that too. All right, so that's about as much as I feel like I need to do with the pond. And anything else, it also allows you to do these little tiny grasses very easily too. You've got a lot of that, but you're going to come back and add the detail. Okay. So, and no two backgrounds will look exactly the same, and that's all right. I don't want you to, sweat the small stuff about that. Okay. Might go over this a little bit like that. Make these the corners are kind of darker. Now I want to dry this. John, do you have anything you can show while I dry this?
I do. Let me fire it up.
Okay, because I want to just sort of dry that, and I want to indicate this dark area here is where the pond kind of is, right there. Right there, because I kind of had to do that, right?
Is that a bump in the middle there?
What, here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so I'm going to dry that. John's got some, this is a show and tell day, okay?
Well,
so I'm going to kind of look up at you for a minute and just say, this will be fun, right? Hang in there with us, right?
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas in July, my friends. Now don't go thinking I only pop in once a year. Oh, no! This summer, I've got something special just for you. All of Ginger Cook's downloadable acrylic painting tutorials. Yep, every single one is 30% off all month long. That's right. From July 1st to the 31st, you can deck your digital halls with over 50 stunning step-by-step painting tutorials, and with more added every month. Each download is yours to keep forever. No expiration dates, no Wi-Fi needed. Create your very own painting library that you can revisit anytime, any season. Whether you're painting snow-covered barns or summer poppies, there's something magical waiting just for you. And between you and me, Ginger adds new lessons all the time, so your collection can keep growing long after July has melted away. So grab your brushes, fill your stockings early, and head to Ginger's website before the sleigh rides off at the end of the month. This 30% off sale won't last long. Christmas in July sale. 30% off all downloadable lessons from our new website, gingercookondemand.com. July 1st to the 31st only. Brushes down, smiles up. That's the Ginger Cook way. Ho, ho, ho!
Come on, come on. What about that one, huh?
How about that?
Who's that handsome devil?
So, anyhow, I don't know what John showed you. What did he show you?
I showed Pirate John and his teddy bear talking about the Christmas in July sale.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool.
Now, a couple disclaimers on that. We are adding more tutorials every single day, all month long. This is only sale prices on the on-demand, Ginger Cook on-demand website. If there's something you're looking for on the Academy that's not over on that site yet, please let us know and we'll do our best to get it over there. This is a sale that will not be repeated. We hope.
So, but back to my bird here. I could draw it on now. I'm looking at my reference, and I could have it a little bit more orange in here. Now, I'm just going to show you this, and that's what the medium is so interesting about, right? Because you can use it like a glazing medium. So I'm going to take a little medium and a little cadmium orange, okay? And I'm going to come over this like this. I'll just do mostly medium. And I could, if I wanted this to be a little oranger here,
So you're using it like a glazing medium.
I'm using it as like a glazing, I'm absolutely using it as like a glazing medium. If you think you've got too much, you can wipe some off if you wanted to do that, right? So if you wanted to do say something like that, so you could change something a little bit. Suppose you just wanted a little color somewhere and you barely wanted to see it. I want a little bit of gold. So what I want to do is I'll rinse that brush, and I want it a little bit golder. So I'm going to take that raw sienna, and where's the other palette paper? You gave me two. What did I do with the other one? I don't know. Guess I'll come over here with it in the medium. Okay, so I want to get this very thin. I want this to be, see, that's too thick. So, and that's, I want this to be a little warmer, and if I've dried it, I can layer. Does that make sense? If I can dry this, I can make kind of like layer this, and I can warm this whole thing up pretty much, which is very effective. Here's a little bit of yellow ochre in that.
You're getting a watercolor effect with your acrylics.
Yeah, I can come back over here. For instance, I can go right over that because I dried it, and I can make it a little darker if I want, right? If I wanted to say I wanted this a little oranger right in here, I could just do that. See what I mean? I can, if I thought it was too much, I can take a little bit of medium and just, like I say, kind of wipe it off a little bit and just suggest just a hint of that where I want it. I want this a little bit, like I say, a little bit golder. And you could do this with water too, by the way, but water thins out a little bit, so it's, you can play with your background. I know it probably sounds like I'm just rushing through this, but we have to do it quickly. While it's still workable, okay?
But not as quick as if you weren't using a medium.
Yeah, okay. So, like, for instance,
That's looking good.
So, I mean, I kind of like that, and we'll put some more green up there, but I like those colors. But if I wanted a little bit of, say, gold here, just put a little bit of medium here and try this again. I might want to tone this down a little bit here, right in here, like that. This little area here. So maybe I don't want that quite so, bright there. As opposed to, say, just putting the color on, which you can do too, okay? Because remember, you can paint over it too, just like I'm doing here, without the medium, and you can paint over, and so you can take your paints, for instance, and you can come in here like this, and this is just paint, yellow oxide, right? And you can come back and you can, put a bit of background if you didn't get it, if you felt like you needed to thin something up or put something in here like that. You have the option of layering this, okay? And I'll show you more when I get the bird on. I'm going to dry this one more time, and then we're just going to trace the bird, just kind of right in this area here, okay? But again, the whole point of this is that you can really adjust the colors of this background with some real finesse by doing this and taking advantage of these mediums. It makes a difference. And let's see, I think I want something a little bit darker up here in this corner. See, now that's too dark. Do you see that? But if I put a little medium with it, which I could do water too, but see, I wanted that corner a little bit darker. There, so I just kind of darken that area, right? All right, I'll dry it one more time, and then we'll trace this on. I don't know if John has anything to change.
Well, I can't talk when you're doing it, so make it fit.
All right, so let's just, where's the traceable, John? Did you have it somewhere for me? We're gonna put the lid back on the paint so we don't get in there. We'll go ahead and trace the bird on.
Did you want red, my queenness?
I'm wondering, red?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm thinking,
Think I can get away with white?
I don't think it's going to be strong enough on that one end.
Yeah, it'll be here, but maybe not up
Not
in
at
here.
the top. It could. I mean,
Maybe I should do blue.
well, I have a blue.
Let's try blue.
I have a blue. Blue bonnet. Da, 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 that goes down.
Okay, so we're gonna just
Turn it over.
put that down.
Take the
Okay.
bird.
Okay, so I'm gonna just take the scissors and cut the bird out.
The scissors are on your side.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the scissors here, and well,
it a
I don't
bit.
have to do that. I guess I don't need to. I laid this on here right, so it should be fine, right? You guys think that's true, don't you?
I think it'd be fine.
I think we'll be fine.
I think it'd be perfect.
We're perfect. It's
Ideal
so funny.
even.
John and I
Oh, wait, we had a
have been
question
painting
about.
solid every day.
Wait. Because this will tie you to this. Hold on a second. Let me scroll back up a second. Here, give me a second. Quit yelling. Hold on. When you travel, do you paint, or do you draw, or do you take a break? Do you miss it when you don't paint every day? You may now answer.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead so we're going to be traveling, and we have done all the paintings for the Academy through the end of almost through November, and some into December, and of course for the YouTube. And we've got some of those. We have done so many paintings we can't remember what we did, but we have a calendar and we put them all on. So on some level we know it, but just intellectually we don't anymore. We have it written down somewhere because otherwise who knows what would happen. All right, you see that? So let's just. Is that showing up? Yeah. How's that doing? Well, okay, so you have to really push hard with this. I go over the lines. I don't just do it one time. I'm going over them a lot, almost scribbling on here. I just go back and forth on this. Yeah, so you have to, if you just did it really light. If it's on a board, it's a lot easier than on a canvas because it's a solid surface, but you can put a piece of cardboard in back your canvas with that. Okay, you see how I've got that? So I'm kind of looking to see.
Checking as you go.
But that is there. You guys got to admit that's pretty easy, right? There's the bird. Yes and yes. Oh gosh. How fabulously easy was that? Oh, I said yes. Okay, so what is the first thing you do when you have to paint something white and it's not white now and there's colors underneath it? Okay, don't all answer at once. We're going to.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to paint it white. We have to because otherwise, this is just the first coat, right? So let's just I'm not going to use any medium, and my brush is not wet.
This is an egret.
This is an egret. Now, I have an egret story.
Oh, I love egret stories.
Well, when we lived Cinnamon and I and her dad moved to California, Southern California, and we bought like 4 acres of land, okay? And there was an area where when it rained a lot, there'd be kind of this stream that only showed up in the winter that ran through the property and would kind of flood out our driveway. So Colby felt, Cinnamon's dad felt that there ought to be, like, we had to have a spillway, and we should make a pond to kind of trap the water, and then we could have a pond because there was water coming down, you know, whenever there was a heavy rain, particularly in the winter, okay? And of course, we were new to Southern California, didn't know anything about it, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. And so we thought, you know, we had this mind, a little pond, and so forth, right? So then, we you know, we were going to church, and we thought, you know, one of the guys at church said that that he had, because we were going to have to get somebody with a big backhoe, you know, tractor thingy to dig the hole, and it somehow came out in conversation that he did that. Okay. And so we said, well, you know, what would you charge us to dig our pond? You know, because I just, you know, I couldn't imagine. And I think it was a lot, but then I went through, we were coming from Colorado, that was California. We didn't want to take advantage of someone in church, right? We didn't want, that wouldn't feel right, okay? So, we said, okay. So then he said, well, I'll let you know when I can do it, right? So then he showed up, and he showed up with this semi-truck that had this giant machine on it, and it turned out he dug the ponds for SeaWorld and orcas and those people. Just going. So, you know, I'm thinking of a pond about the size of 2 cars, and he's dug us a lake, okay? Just, and what are you going to say, right? Whoops, we didn't know you were going to do that, right? So then we decided that, so he dug us this magnificent hole. I mean, it was, you know, you got to give him that. It was really nice, right? So then we thanked him, thinking that we should pay more attention to when we ask people what they do, because, you know, it's just, okay, so it sounds like I'm being ungrateful. I'm not ungrateful, but with just a bit of a shock, because it wasn't what we were thinking, okay? But it was fine. You know, we had a better pond than we thought. So then we made this, we had a dam and everything, because he had to build a dam for the pond, and then we had to have a spillway, which took a lot of, you know, and this was all done by hand, right? You know, cement mixing and everything by hand, and then there were all these rocks that were in the bottom of the pond that we piled up around and made an island. Okay, we decided I think we asked him for an island, and so he left us an island, and then we had to rock it all up. And we called it Lake Cinnamon.
Perfect.
So then we thought, and then sure enough, the rains came and filled up our pond, and that was good, right?
According to plan.
It all worked, right? We were just so happy about that. And then we thought, well, what we need is something in the pond. So then we thought, well, we'll get some koi fish. And so I think I told you the story of how there was an advertisement in the Penny Saver about somebody was selling koi fish for 10 cents, you know, baby ones, right? So we went over there, and there was this very wealthy doctor who was a surgeon or something, and he had this, looked like something out of Disneyland, his house, and he had this pond, and Cinnamon was like 6 at the time, and adorable, which she always was, and that we're putting in I'm putting in the sky color now back in the pond. Does that make sense? I need it a little bit whiter here. Now I'm making my own pond here, okay? So that's not quite as white. This is not as white as the egret, you guys, but we're going to put in the water here while we're doing this. So then some koi fish can go for $100,000. Did you guys know that?
Holy moly!
If it has the one of my friends, who's one of my best friends, her husband was also a doctor, and it turned out these guys were friends because they were koi aficionados or something, right? And he had spent $35,000 just on one koi fish, which was a lot of money back in, you know, the 80s. Still a lot of money today, but it was even a lot then, right? So let's come up here a little bit like that. See, you can do more coats of stuff. See, once you get these drying things done, you can play, right? See how I'm playing that? So anyway, so we got these koi fish, and he told Cinnamon she could pick out anything she wanted, and she picked out a very expensive fish. But then we ended up with a whole bunch of these koi fish, and they got very large. They will grow as large as the water you give them. And we were all happy about that. And then one day, after the koi fish were doing well and happy, okay, one day a big white bird flew into the pond and started eating our fish. and it was two egrets came to eat the fish. Come on. And we wanted to be upset about it, but we thought, how many people have egrets? And we knew the guy that was selling them for 10 cents and thought we could go back.
Go get the egrets some more food for 10 cents.
But that was how we had the egrets in our pond. Then there's more pond stories, but that's a pretty good one, right? All right, so I'm going to dry this.
There's an awful lot of drying in this, maybe. You did not pre-warn me on this.
Well, you know what? Maybe I can show you some stuff. Let me just set up drawing.
Yeah,
let me show you some stuff.
Let's take a pause in the action.
Show and tell. Are you interested in some of the paintings that are coming up? First off, I want to say, last week we did this. We painted last week on Monday. We painted this Greek painting, right?
Yes, we did.
And so many of you did such a good job on this. And really caught how to paint these flowers. I was so impressed with. If you want to know what people are doing, you've got to be in our Facebook club, and it's free. And no one says anything mean or anything. It's the most wonderful place. We have marvelous moderators that keep it nice, and you can kind of show off your artwork there, and so we have a lot of you did a great job on that. John, did you ever load the one of the art lounge, by the way? That painting?
Carol Martin, I did. Would you like me to bring it up?
Well, not right now, but get ready for that. Now that's what we did last week, right? So I want you to know that we wanted to keep summer going. So in our academy, we've got a beach scene coming up with an umbrella, okay? And then this was one of my. This was really fun. This is I think it's Aunt somebody or other, and she's tending flowers, and I had her smoking. You don't have to have her smoking, but you know what? There was a time when everybody smoked. I remember it. If you don't, I quit when I was 23, but I started I think when I was 10. So I smoked for a while, right?
I've never smoked. Thank you for asking.
I didn't ask, but good to know, John.
You said everybody smokes. They don't. Some of us have a brain.
Okay.
Just saying.
And then we have shown this before, but of course we're going to be releasing our Diva Kitty. Come on, don't you just love that? This is the best time ever to become an Academy member, Red or Purple member, because we've got some of the best paintings. And honestly, you won't believe what we're going to be putting out on YouTube during the weeks that we're gone. You are going to be. It's so fabulous. We have worked our tushes off. And
you were going to say the other word that started coming out. One of the things I think was kind of neat. A lot of times it's very hard to paint a white dog, and we've got this impressionistic poodle, and I think that's a bite-sized lesson. Yes, they are.
And so that will be in the art lounge too. And then we have the same dog, black and white, and it's a totally different way. It's the same kind of dog.
Okay.
But same kind of dog. It's different, but you paint it differently. So these are wonderful tutorials on that that are coming up. That's just absolutely fabulously wonderful. And winter was coming up. We've got a lot of stuff I'm not showing you, but oh my God, back it up a little bit. Let me show them the dog again.
What dog?
This one.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah on the couch.
The sofa.
Sarah on the sofa. And she's on a very wide, three-figure gallery wrap canvas, and you could just love this painting with the blue. This was designed based off of an old DG, except there was a lady lying on the couch, and we just put Sarah, right? Because I didn't know that woman.
Well, the lady had to go fix dinner.
Yeah, so I didn't know that woman, so we did this one. But these are just some of the wonderful things that are coming up in the Academy, and I'm excited to show you this stuff because And even on YouTube, I mean, let's just talk about this. Here's a wonderful summer painting coming up on YouTube, very impressionistic, that we'll be releasing soon. And there'll be one of these premieres that we'll be doing. And you won't believe this one. John will back this up. Sometime this fall, we're going to be doing this lighthouse on YouTube and showing you how to create a palette knife effect without using a palette knife. Wow. How about that, right? So that's some of the stuff that's coming up. So you want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel, that you're getting our newsletters so you know these things are released. And back to the Academy, do you not love our fox? Look at the eyes. Zoom in on that. Look at the eyes on this fox. We have a fox painting called the Foxy Lady in the Academy. This is another one that will go with that. And really kind of cool, you know. And then there's and-thens. There's lots of and-thens. We know that the holidays are coming up, and so we're going to give you plenty of time to do these holiday paintings that you can make cards out of. Here's our little cardinal, and oh wait, this is like one of my all-time favorites with the bird. Isn't that just so cute? That will be coming up in the Academy. Just absolutely fabulous, right? Academy, yes?
I think so.
I can't remember if it's Academy or YouTube now.
Well, let me ask Dottie.
I can't remember now if this is Academy or YouTube.
That's YouTube.
It's YouTube. Oh my God, this is coming up on YouTube. Are you excited? So get some square canvases. And then this is an Academy piece. And if you've got anybody...
No, that's a YouTube.
It's a YouTube too? So
I know, we were giving the store away with these great paintings.
You know, look at the, you know, so you want to get some square canvases. And I don't know if you have any friends that snowmobile, but this is a neat painting if you never put the snowmobile in. Again, using medium to make these wonderful blendings. So that's just a taste of what's coming up. Oh, one more I got to show you. This is definitely an Academy lesson. This is Hank's Landing, and this will be for fall, part of the Orcas Island series that we're doing. You know, the little shacks along and with docks along the shores of Orcas Island, 1920s. And so that's some stuff coming up. So if you really want to learn to acrylic painting, you got to hang out with us, man. How's that?
Bottom line,
hang out with that. And I still have to dry that, but it'll just take a second.
Are you kidding me?
You know, it's tacky, see?
Oh, because you used the medium.
No, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't use the medium on that, but that bird is now wide enough. Now, you'll notice in the bird is actually two colors. The underpainting color is almost a kind of a white. It's kind of white with a little bit of yellow oxide. That's the underpainting of this. Okay. A little bit more white than that, so I'll put this on here like that. That's the underpainting of this bird. That's the color underneath the color, you guys. People always say, how do you know that? Now, I've got a little bit of water on my brush, not medium, because I'm not trying to do kind of glazing. I'm going to come a little bit over the line here with that. And I don't want any pencil lines showing. Or, you know, lines like that. That's the... And any questions, John? What kind of comments are we getting from our paintings? I want to know. People like what we're doing?
Yeah, people like them. They're all excited.
Really?
When are you going to release the seascape with the guy fishing from the cliffs? I don't remember that one. Do you remember a guy we have fishing from the cliffs?
No.
When is the palette abstract coming out? You know, you guys are just going to have to pay attention all fall long, all summer and fall long. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so there's a little bit of that beak color, okay?
I don't remember a guy fishing on the cliff.
Well, I designed a painting like that, but we never did it.
Who asked that question? How would they know about it? Oh, that was Nikki. You must have shared it with Nikki.
Oh, Nikki, I shared it with you, but I never painted it. There you go. See that little light line there just on the top of that? Remember I told you there'd be a little bit of that green, so a little bit of phthalo blue and yellow. And we've got this little bit of green here around his eye. That's coming up here like that. And it's a little bit more phthalo blue with that. So, you know, those, you wouldn't think that kind of stuff's important, but just, there you go, right? And then we've got a little bit of burnt sienna and yellow oxide here. Just mix it up here like that, like kind of close to his neck. My brush is dirty. So I'm gonna just show some green next to him like this. This is the other way you can kind of put your bird in the painting, is surround him with a little bit of these colors so that there's contrast. Remember, wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So I know that people are going to ask about the recovery of my son-in-law, John, and it seems promising that they've moved him to his own room, or where he isn't being monitored 24 hours a day by somebody. I mean, he is, but they don't have to sit in the same room with them. Which, you know, these are all good things, right?
That's in the right direction.
Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow, this raw sienna color, tap it off, and come over here. I need this a little bit darker under here. And then you push it down and lift up so that you don't have a line where it just stops. You push and lift up. You'll see me do that a lot, where you just push and lift up, push and lift up, push and lift up, okay? That's how you get, you know, the little bit of the contrast that you need. And we want to thank everybody that's, you know, that, you know, we don't do Patreon, but we do, you know, the traceables are available. All the traceables to 2020 are available for $4.95 a month. There's hundreds of them, or you can buy them one at a time now at gingercookondemand.com for $1.29 or something. So, so if you wanted the traceable for this, that's where it will be. It's not up there right this minute, right? I'm going to just kind of lighten up this.
No, it won't be up there till later.
Till later, okay?
You gotta get all the images done.
I think I want a little bit of this white and yellow here. Let's see, a little bit of this. Let's make it up. If you put a little black with yellow, it makes it sort of an interesting green. See? It's an interesting, then I'll say, let's put a little bit of orange up there, a little bit of gold. Okay, and I want something pretty dark next to the birds, so I'm going to put some phthalo blue and burnt umber here. Okay, phthalo blue, burnt umber, and yellow ochre, or maybe, no, that's raw sienna. Okay, so I can put, I'm just going to say that there's just, I want the contrast here, see? So I want to come under this bird here and put the contrast of the dark colors. And I can keep going down on the pond now that I've got somewhere to go with this, okay? And we have anything here like that. Now, you can use water if you want to. You can always use water if you need to do like a little tiny, an angle brush. You can do some very thin reeds. Don't get too many because you don't want to get it too busy, but you can do stuff like that. You don't have to have the medium for that. You can always do this, okay? All right. And I want to take the black color, remember, and I'm going to go over, kind of flatten that out, and I want to go over his legs here like this. Then there's a little knot, and then they just go in here like this. And you just kind of bring it down and you don't talk about it. We're just not saying what happened to them. They're in the water somewhere, okay? You're all pretty good with that. So you don't want to get too crazy about all of this, right? When you're looking at stuff, it's important not to get it too busy because it can get busy really quick. So I know that I'm going to have, do you see this little bit of white right here on his chest, and right here on his head there's white, and then on his back there's going to be some white, right? Okay, and a little bit here. Right there's a little bit wider. Sometimes what happens is if you don't use a clean brush, you won't get the white effect. You'll feel like you did, but you didn't do it. Okay, now I want to do a little bit more of the glazing medium with that dark green, because I want to come up here like this and just put a little bit more yellow with it. And I can still layer that on the background, something a little bit deeper. See, let's take a little bit of ultramarine blue and yellow. That makes a nice army green, okay? And a little bit of medium, and come up here like that. See, there you go. So again, this is what's so wonderful about doing a painting like this, that you've got some leeway on how you paint it. And if you want something really thin, you just put it on your brush like that, wipe it off, then go back into medium because your brush is dirty, and you can dirty up this water a little bit just like that, and it just doesn't look like you did that much, see? But you kind of darkened it with making it real thin. Make sense? And then there was something kind of light about his legs. There's a little bit of light stuff right in front of this leg here. So we'll just, because we want it to show up, right? So we'll just kind of barely touch it, hardly any paint at all. Just put a little bit of something light right there. Maybe a little gold. Keep everything going kind of up and down, and then I want like a couple little gold ones going this way. So I want some paint on the brush now, but I can still use some medium to make it move. And if I want it a little bit lighter, I can put a little bit of white in there. Now you want some lines going across like this. And that's where this light green comes in. It looks like a pond if you put some lines going this way, okay? That's the secret to this stuff, okay? You know, a little bit darker here, right like that. Got to put some lines coming down like that. Okay, so now we haven't done too much up here, but I'm just kind of waiting for that bird to dry, right? Any questions, John?
No, ma'am.
All right, so it's kind of neat. I mean, I just want to emphasize this is really an easy painting. Okay, we did something similar to this last fall with some swans, I believe. Some of you did a fabulous job on that. And gonna get it ultramarine blue and yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt sienna, so some sort of dark plant up here. Just gonna suggest cattails. Okay, like that in the front. And there's over here, I'm just kind of stalling for this part, okay? Because over here, you know, there's some little flowers that are doing, they're ovals, sideways, not circles, you guys, ovals, kind of flat. Let's put a little bit of yellow with that. And then make some a little smaller. They're not all the same size. Maybe 3. That's what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay. And then there's a tiny one off the thing here. So little flowers, right? Then you come in here with just the corner of your brush with the raw sienna, and you make a little circle. Little dot in the middle. Okay. And that's all there is to those. Okay. And then I think I wanted some phthalo blue and medium. Okay. And I want to put a little bit of light blue right here. Put a little white with that. Here, let's just, I want that a little bit lighter. Okay. But I want it thin, so I've got it like that, and then I'll wipe it off the brush, and I'll just put a little bit of this, kind of this misty, foggy stuff on here like that. That's mysterious, see? We added, it's a mystery. Yes, it's a mystery. Then you'll notice that I'm pinching the brush all the time. So then I've got a little bit of that light color here on the back of his leg, like that. Okay, gotta put that. And I think I can get away with that with this brush too. So now we're going to come down here and start adding, push and lift up. And lift up, and I'll kind of rinse the brush to get it moving a little bit. Then reload it with that white and raw sienna. Okay. Just using the corner of the toe of this brush. Or you could do a tinier brush, which is always good too, or a newer one. That one's kind of frayed down, getting old. So new brushes are always better for this than old brushes. I'll just show you the difference. See what I mean? You can get, and you want to have enough paint mix where it's actually pretty thick here. And I want a little more white with that. I want some white on the back of this tail and on his his back like that. So this is where the white goes. This pure white up here and then round. Make sure this is really good and round like that. And I'll go back. You might have to do a couple coats. I mean, tomorrow if this is not white enough, I'd have to go back and maybe do a second coat. But I know, for instance, that we talked about the top of his head being lighter and then his chest right like that. You know, that's some white. And then here on the back of his neck, do you see how you can take this brush and just twist it and curve it? And then here on the neck like that. See? So there's...
Tara would like to know, do you think I could put this background behind the cranes from the calendar?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think so. And I still think this is this gold gesso stuff that we had, right? I still think this would have been, a lot of you bought this gold Daniel Smith thing. You probably have it, the cover going, what am I going to do with it? I still think this would have been an interesting background with this, and then even scrape some out where the stuff shows through. You could experiment on like a little tiny canvas and see what you could do layering over it with medium. Because I mean, I didn't want to take a chance in case it didn't work, but I think it would. You know? Okay. Now here we go. So just using the toe of the brush. I mean, for something that's as simple as this, it's kind of cool, isn't it? I mean, really, honestly, not just me saying that. I mean, I think it's kind of neat.
Well, like I said, it's not a hard painting.
No,
You've got a little bit of layer, got to dry things.
I'm just going to come under there like
Can't
that
rush
so this
it.
shows up. Just put a little bit of light line there so that shows up. Now I'm going to take a Posca pen. And when we do these premieres while we're gone, because we're going to be traveling and stuff like that, and I'll be on there, and I'd be really disappointed if you guys didn't come. It'd really hurt my feelings if you don't come to our premieres, because we got some amazing paintings. And
You don't want to upset the queen.
we went, okay. So, what do you think happened to that stuff? What do you think happened to my black Posca pen? It's anybody's guess. I never put anything back in the same place, right? I'm not
No,
quite
you don't.
done, but I want to just show you how we're going to do this. Okay, where's the bird? Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I have a gold eye on here, right? I'm going to come around the eye, outside of his eye like this, and then a little black dot in the middle like that. That's his gold eye. All right. And then I've got, I think I had a white pen somewhere too. I remember having those. Where'd you go? Where'd I think the white one went? Here. That's a big one. Still would work. Sometimes a Posca pen is whiter than your, did you know that? The white paint in a Posca pen is whiter than my titanium white.
How's that even possible?
I don't know, but it just seems to be the case. Of course, you've got to get it to come out, and you've got to shake it, and that's not the one I wanted. I feel like Goldilocks here. All right, the three bears here with this.
Will you still send out the newsletter while you're gone?
Oh, absolutely. We'll be doing packs every day.
All it is we're going to our other offices around the world.
Yeah, we're going to go see my brother and Mitch. We don't go anywhere we don't have internet.
Nope.
So except for when we're driving, and then in fact we've got our driving where we've got it where we have to be in a hotel where we
Still have time to get some work done.
we still have time to get the work done. I want to just turn this like this, and turn this like this, because you see how this curve. Let me just show it to you this way. Do you see how this is curved like an egg, and mine isn't?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, just small stuff like that, And then the head here is just a little bit higher than I had it. Comes down on the beak like that. So then this comes in here like this. And then I want to make sure that this is nice and white up here like that. Oh, and then there's some of these coming off of him like that too, right? He's a very little hairy person.
What do you mean by still send out packs? That stands for personal art coaching.
Personal art coaching, PACS, personal art
PACS.
coaching. So people send me their the artwork either from YouTube or from the Academy lessons, and they take a picture and say, "Hey, Ginger, what do you think?" And then I make a personal video for them and tell them what I think, and then how they can improve it, or maybe they don't have to do anything. They should just sign it and move on to the next painting. And that's included. That service is included with your red and purple membership. And which is I think kind of neat. Okay, so let's get some of this stuff on here like that. Just, we don't want to get too carried away with that. Maybe a little gold one here. You don't want to get too many lines going because it gets too busy. But Do you have a frame, John?
Yeah, I have that one special one.
Yeah, so yeah, you had that one special one, and there would have been another. I don't like. I'm going to take a little thing. I needed actually some little lines coming off here like that you could see. Okay. And did we get that green stuff on there good? On there like that. See, I thought that was there's not a lot to this painting, so I thought that was kind of important. And just something like that.
Tara says the best thing ever. Love my packs.
Does she? Oh, thanks, Tara. And I love doing. You know, people say, well, you know, don't you? You know, when you travel, do you get tired of doing them? No, I love seeing what you're doing. It also helps me. You know, when I make a video, if 10 people or 4 people or even 2 have the same question about something, then when I make the next video, I will explain it differently. Does that make sense?
I still am not taking advantage of my packs. I need to.
Yeah, because I mean, look, everybody said, I'm thrilled with whatever you're doing. I've got, because I tell you what, like for instance, you know how I explained how to do the flowers in last week's video, how you did the bougainvilleas and how you did the flowers in the pots. That came from several people struggling with that concept of how to do it, right? So if I hadn't had the packs, I wouldn't know that anybody had anything but just ease of painting it, right? So you never know. You help me when you send in the packs too. Okay, I'm just a little bit darker around the bird here. Okay, and while he's getting the frame, for those of you who've been contributing tonight and every week, we thank you for that. I'm curious, I want, in the comments, when we're ending this video, and we'll put this in a frame in a minute and I'll finish it up. What I want to know is which one of these you'd like to win. Because when we do the drawings for these paintings, and we'll be adding more as time goes on, for instance, our lovely little boat, you know, anybody that puts $25 in the, you know, toward our scholarship fund over a 3-month period, if you did 5 one month and 20 another, it's one ticket in the fishbowl, and you have a chance to win the original Ginger Cook painting. Here's some of the ones that we're doing that we'll be giving away. I'm very curious to know which one you'd like to win. If you won one, here we heard the little birds. Now, incidentally, this is a free lesson on our art lounge. Free lesson. What's the
acrylicartlounge.com.
Acrylic, and that's a free lesson. You sure want to be doing that one. Here was a little vineyard on that. Actually, this was a YouTube lesson because everybody likes the French and Italian scenes. Lavender. This was a painting. It was never a lesson. It was tulips and books, and but I was going to do it as a lesson. I never did. And also, one of my favorites is this painting of the waterfall, Frank's Falls, because there's so much texture on this. This video was so helpful if you want to learn how to paint rocks, and just having this in your studio or something to really see the layers and the colors of how this is done. I think it'd be very helpful. So these are just some of the paintings that will be on the list depending on the donations that have come in. And in the meantime, John's got the
frame.
The crane, yeah, the crane.
The crane for the frame.
The crane for the frame, right? And you've got to admit, now I had about this much matte medium less, so I could have used a little less than that.
I think you could have.
Maybe a teaspoon, maybe not. I think I had a tablespoon, maybe about half that much.
You had 2 tablespoons.
I had 2, so maybe
you
just one. Boy, just say something, why don't you, right? You needed one. You needed one. You used too much. Well, gosh, it's a big jar, right?
And that's why I didn't give you the full gallon of it. Gonna have to have a sale again with all these paintings we've got.
Okay, and listen, if you get a painting in the mail,
Drop us a confirmation you got it.
yeah, just send us an email saying you got it. We'd appreciate that. John really packs those, but you know, so beautifully. But boy, when they go overseas or to Canada or you know to California or somewhere, they have to go a long ways. It's listen. Sometimes some even go to Texas. We just want to know that you got it. And
we just sent the auction pieces out. The Texas people have got theirs. The rest should be showing up this week. And I got 3 more to go out. I'll probably ship them out tomorrow. The last of the auction pieces.
yeah,
Thank you everybody that participated in that. It was very, very beneficial to the gas tank.
So this comes in. Yeah, thank you for helping us with our trip. Got to put this one up here like that. Make sure that leg was here. The Posca pens are a little blacker too, so I wanted this just a little bit darker on the leg than that it showed up. So that's why I did that. And let's see, wrong pen. Here we go. I'll get it eventually. I will sign it. I think right there. What do you think? Or maybe here. What do you think? Maybe here. And oh, thank you guys for coming, and thank Armada for coming, and you know. And some of you have been comment faithfully every week, even if you just say, hey, great video, thanks, or loved it, or just left a heart. We appreciate that so much. And, you know, as we'd love to be able to hear from more of you. And I know it's a time-consuming thing, but we thank you very much if you like the video to comment too. Posca pens have real acrylic ink in them. There. Okay. So, if you hope you loved the video. We loved. This is our last live show for a while, but we'll be here for the premieres for next week. We want to thank you for coming. You guys, we love you, and. Don't forget, if you're painting any of my daughter's paintings from her for YouTube show, the Art Sherpa, keep her memory alive and post them in our club. We'd love to see them. Bye.
That's it? The show's over?
Yeah, kind of miss. Yeah.
Wow. It seems like we just got here.
I know, just got here. We got all set. But this was an easy painting, don't you guys think? It really was.
I can't believe it's already over. I'm so sad.
Remember, traceables, acrylic, gingercookondemand.com, $1.29 if you want a traceable for this. Unless you're an Orange member, and then you have it. Oh, and the lounge people automatically, acrylic lounge people automatically get the...
Yeah, we'll get the acrylic lounge people get the YouTube lessons.
Get the YouTube traceables too.
All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you very much for participating. Don't forget to give it the old thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and be so kind. Share with all your family and friends, and of course your enemies. And don't forget to close the door and make sure the cat is outside. He tore the place apart last night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.